We had residents showing up with their last quarter of a tank of gas to go deliver into the Rockaways, to deliver into Breezy Point. The one thing I learned is this definitely can't be done by one person. A president acts as the voice or the face of an organization, but it's really the people you have around you.
So welcome to another Community Leaders Show. This is Loycent Gordon, owner of Neir's Tavern, sponsored by Neir's Ambassadors Club, a social club for social good, health in the community, ensuring Neir's Tavern reaches 200th anniversary. My next guest is a president. I want to be a president. You feel like I want to be a president, just a president. He's a president of Woodhaven Residents Block Association, doing incredible work. My friend, Martin Colberg. Thanks for being here, man. How does it feel like to be an actual president? That people call you President Martin or President Colberg?
Yeah, when they want to make fun of me, especially like Senator Dabo always, hey, Mr. President, it's like, all right, No, but it's good. It's just, it's really good to be involved and to be part of really what's a really big, great community, let's say.
You've never been the president of this block association your entire life. What led you up to that point to actually become the president and accept?
So there's this gentleman you may know, Ed Wendell, who I would just say sold me a bridge, right? Who said, you won't be doing much. Don't worry about it. It's easy. You're in the community anyway. Just so be involved. And I was like, sure. So it started off by joining the board, attending my first WRBA meeting, which Vance was there as well. And he didn't warn me about becoming president. He was another one to say, yeah, do it, so go ahead. But, and that's what it was. It started off with attending one meeting, and from there, just keep on attending meetings until, Ed and the board was comfortable enough to say, hey, if you want to really get involved and you want to become president, we would want that. And it was a really humbling feeling because it's trust. These are individuals who were involved with this board and this community for so many years. And now it's like they have faith in you to take it to the next level.
And I know you have been actually taking it to the next level. I see you doing a lot of things. So can you tell us some of the other level things that you were doing in the community besides being president? I know, you do other things. You do other things that's community related. And I want to hear more about that. What are a couple other titles that you own in the community or things that you volunteer for?
So I also sit on the board of the Woodhaven Business Development Corporation, so the BID, which helps represent all the brick and mortar businesses on Jamaica Avenue. We work a lot with SBS, Small Business Services, to make sure that those services that those businesses need are provided to them.
Right.
Our elected officials don't forget about our district, and actually start funding for like garbage removal. We work with the NYPD to make sure we have some patrols when we need it. I'm also on the board of the Highland Park Community Development Corporation, which deals with homeless services and homeless home placement. So
they actually house people, correct?
Yes, they work on housing people.
I know that they house a lot of people.
Yeah. So it actually started off with just having 2 physical shelters, which at the time was about 300 families. Now, because of the migrant crisis that we're in, the corporation has taken on another like 5 facilities. Each one has its own set of amount of people that it takes on. Anywhere from 100 to 250 is the largest one right now.
Right.
So it's a lot of trying to give back and help people.
Right.
I
mean, there's got to be a lot of things that you see that is really affecting you, and there's only so much that we all can do. I mean, what are a story or something that you've seen that really kind of inspired to keep going? Is there an action or something you see?
Yeah, there's a few of them. I can go back to like the biggest one. The one that motivated me more to stay part of the board was during Hurricane Sandy, where Woodhaven really wasn't touched much, but Howard Beach, Breezy Point, Rockaways, and Woodhaven came together to help. Donating food, the stores on Jamaica Avenue, dropping off boxes and boxes of supplies. If you remember, we also had a gas shortage. we had residents showing up with their last quarter of a tank of gas to go deliver into the Rockaways, to deliver into Breezy Point.
Right.
So
So these are residents that live in Woodhaven and say, I'm going to go deliver gas over to, how did that even come to about? It was like, how did that even come about?
it was just, we started off with saying, look, we don't know what we can do, but maybe we just start collecting clothes. We know they need clothes. Everything got washed away. Then it started saying, well, they need food as well. We started making sandwiches for the helpers, for everyone that was out there. And then we hear that, the residents actually needed food.
Right.
And it just snowballed. And then the amount of people that just came out to support, and it was just, all right, everyone else is going to do it. I need to continue to be part of it.
So now I know that, listen, we want more and more people to take action, to actually, be part of the Block Association, do things, how is that happening? I mean, how are you getting people involved? What are some actions you're taking to actually get people to really become part of Woodhaven Block Association, to make more change? How do we get people involved more?
So we're trying to be more savvy with social media, Facebook. Hopefully I'll get on Instagram soon with it.
Yeah.
You probably won't make me see too many TikTok videos, and I'm not big on that. But
You're going to be doing a lot of TikTok. I can see you TikToking.
yeah. But, I think what it is, it's joining, and combining efforts like with the NYPD, with elected officials, having more drives, getting the word out there, and just really just being on the ground, right? So I walk the neighborhood a lot. I drive the neighborhood a lot. I'm naturally a shy person. I'm really a shy person, but when it's something that I care about, right? But when it's you're so passionate about your bar, right? That it brings something different out in you.
Yeah.
And it does the same thing for me here, and not just for Woodhaven, but really for our city, where I can sit down and talk to a stranger for 3 hours on how we can fix New York, right? But I think that's what it is. It's being able to have honest and open conversations with people, and then seeing, okay, how then can we make that come true, right? Who do we need to work with, right? And then how do we let other people know that they should be involved? And
I know that, there are people that come to you and need solutions to problems. What are some things that people come to you that you were able to help them as president that you maybe wouldn't have been able to if you weren't president?
Yeah, there's things from, noise complaints, garbage, people blocking driveways, families needing support, kids, like today, the book bag giveaway at Assemblymember Rajkumar's office, kids needing school supplies. How do you do that, helping one family, but then also trying to help multiple families? There's a lot of things that I just don't do myself. Sometimes it's just connecting the dots, and maybe someone's just missing one little piece, and that can be a phone number or an email for them to reach out to someone. Because the one thing I learned is this definitely can't be done by one person. A president acts as the voice or the face of an organization, but it's really the people you have around you. So I have a great board. We have a great community. We have great community supporters like yourself, where we all work together to make sure that we're going to achieve our goal.
Right. And I want to really kind of ask you, who are these people of Woodhaven? Who are these people that, what are they like? What are the people that you're proud to serve? What are Woodhaven like? How would you describe people of Woodhaven that's different from any other neighborhood?
I would say it's still, and we've been growing every year population-wise, but it still feels like that small town where you get to know everyone. You can walk into a place like Neir's by yourself. You don't have to walk in. Again, I'm a shy. I never used to go into a restaurant or a bar by myself.
Right.
Until the first time I did it was here in Neir's.
And it was first time was here?
First time was here.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't walk into a bar or restaurant by myself. I just feel like, well, you shouldn't be going out by yourself. And you should have some friends, at least one, right?
Yes, it's called Gentleman Jack.
But I think, yeah, but I think that's what it is. It's the sense of you can walk down the block and bump into someone, or someone recognize you and just say, hey, hello. Yeah, they'll complain about something, but then it's about sport. So it's about a joke or something.
And I've always been fascinated. How do you actually create those connections where people will bump into someone and say, hey, I know you, and talk to you? Because oftentimes we don't even know who our neighbors are. We've been living next to someone for years and we have never talked to them. And so I'm asking, how do we create more of that? what are some strategies and stuff you think we can take to actually create, facilitate that connection? That when we do see someone in the street, we actually know them from, the community somehow.
Yeah, and I think by doing it as as individuals, we need to slow down. Think about instead of driving everywhere, especially in a community like this, with something, we have a lot of things that are accessible. Walk to the store, walk to the avenue, walk here to Neir's, and I can guarantee you're going to bump into at least 5 neighbors, and anywhere you go, and then, you find another spot to walk to, shop locally. We should have a lot more events where our community members can come to, utilizing Forest Park. We're lucky that this year there was a lot of funding for a lot of concerts up in the park, and they look like they've been very successful. So hopefully that means next year we can have more.
Right. You believe that some of these events is the key or part of the key to creating these connections where people can actually, see each other and say, oh, I know that person. What are some events that you think that helps facilitate that besides the band show and the concerts?
I think bringing back the street fair, which is going to happen, October 8th, that's great because you get people that come out by the thousands, right? Not just from Woodhaven, though you're outside, but, and it's a lot of people coming out to enjoy what's going on the avenue. You get to meet your elected officials. You get to meet new neighbors because you find something that you're going to have in common, right? And I think that's really what it is getting people out of their homes to speak to their neighbors, right? Finding something that we can have the younger generation be part of as well, right? Because that's what I see right now is what we're really missing in Woodhaven,
right,
is involvement from the younger generation. We have them where when we do graffiti cleanups, they'll show up,
right,
but I want to see more out of them. And I want to see what are they looking for? Is it something after school, something related to sports, to reading, anything like that?
Right. I mean, definitely young folks, getting more involved is important. I think maybe we can find them on TikTok. I don't know. We can talking on that. I think here they are, TikTok. So we got to go TikToking, But yeah, I mean, I see some inspired younger folks. One lady I know that she's doing some autism work, creating an app that actually connect others with that have autism to become friends with other people that have autism that's on the same scale. And these inspired work by some of the young folks hopefully will spread, and more young folks would also get involved and create that. So besides TikTok, how do you think we can really create events and things around that concept to get more young folks to get involved in the Block Association or the community? You have some ideas maybe you want to share?
Yeah, I think really, just asking people what do they want, right? Because we're not going to have all the answers, right? We can help facilitate to get to the goal, but we're not going to have all the answers. So we have to figure out what are the members in our community looking for, right? What do they want to see more? After school activities, we need more sports in our community, right? We need more opportunities for kids to have 2 hours after school so they can do homework and read. Parents today, right? Almost every household, both parents are working. Right.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Now you see some of these kids are out there running around,
Right.
And I mean, you have experienced some of the older folks kind of just running rampant. And you had complaints about that?
100%. We get complaints all the time about the kids on bikes with popping the willies and jumping off the sidewalks and everything. And I still consider myself a little young, even though I have a lot of gray hairs, right?
Yeah.
And when I get the complaints sometime, I'm like, they're kids. Let them be kids, But then when you look at it, it's almost like, all right, but where's that line where then is this kid getting to see where, they may be crossing that line, and is anyone really guiding them to say, be very careful if we're hanging out with what you're doing? Because, I haven't always been in Woodhaven. I originally come from Brooklyn. Best Side Brooklyn is where I grew up. And right? But you can see situations where something can change in a blink of an eye.
Right.
And I think that's where we have to make sure that kids see that there's other opportunities. Go out, have fun, but be responsible.
And I know that you've been awarded and recognized for your community work. I'm like me, I don't like to be recognized, but I think it's important to, to recognize those folks, not just for recognition itself, but hopefully maybe it'll inspire some other folks to actually do some of this work. Some of the younger folks, older folks, and folks, and everybody else. What are a couple things that you've been recognized for? I really want to hear, because I think it's important to people to understand that you have a stamp of approval of being a really great community leader.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. And there's been, it's really all around the community support and community effort. Just recently, I was awarded a citation from the 102 precinct, the work I do with them. I think that's a really strong relationship we need to continue to have with the NYPD. So I always appreciate the effort that they give to us to have the opportunity to explain why certain things can happen, right? I call it the magic wand. No one has that magic wand, so we have to learn how to work with each other on that. Being recognized from also Highland Park, prior to joining that board, worked with my family to do a lot of holiday giveaways. So collecting a lot of toys for homeless kids. That is, for me, is really big. I try and do that every year, whether I can do it in this community or another community. I have a goal of every year. I personally try and purchase 100 toys that I start with to do a donation to some kind of charity. And that was passed on to me from an uncle who was a mentor, who he did that for a few years. And when he passed, I said, that's one of the things I'm going to continue in his name. Also.
That's wonderful. This is it. This is it. And you also have another stamp of approval that I'm going to announce today, is that every year now we've actually created awards and so forth, recognize those that are doing really great work for the community and also for Neir's Tavern. And so we are recognize you as a small business champion for Neir's Tavern and so many other businesses as well for our 194th anniversary. So I wanted to say congratulations, and you definitely deserve it.
Thank you. I'm always really appreciate it. And
you can tell he's shy. One tip, takeaway to kind of share with folks and how to become a more effective community leader or even get involved, what would you like to tell the people watching out there today?
I think just step out of your home and meet a neighbor. Pick that one thing that's your pet peeve and try and see if you can help solutionize it, right? It may take some time, but you'll see that getting some small wins along the way will get you to that bigger goal, and just get involved, say, attend the meeting and put in a 311, make a complaint, make a complaint. That's all right. Yeah. It's like, all it takes is one step. Once you take that first step, you do that first thing, you see the positive results, it's going to snowball. You're going to want to do more.
Wonderful. Beautiful tip. And you got it. That is it. Step out your home and get involved. And after that, it's going to snowball. And you'll be an incredible community that we actually need more of today. So with that being said, thank you, Mark, for being here. Thank you for everybody for watching. This is another episode of the Neir's Community Leaders Show, sponsored by the Ambassador Club. I want to thank you for watching. And as always, community confidence all. Thank you.